Hey family, Dad here. Hope you're having a great day. On this video, I just wanted to talk about an unexpected expense that happened for the month of April. I had to buy a new fridge. So early on in April, I noticed that my freezer wasn't cooling well. The one thing that really popped up was I had ice cream in there. And the ice cream was soft, it wasn't frozen solid or anything like that. I did clean the coils. Nothing really changed. I looked at the refrigerator side of my fridge and it was a little warmer as well than usual. I Googled it. I looked at the shelf life of a regular fridge and my fridge was 10 years old. And, I guess by today's standards, appliances, they don't last that long. Back in the day, appliances lasted forever. But unfortunately, the refrigerator is just constantly working, right? I mean, the stove, the oven, it only works when you cook. Washer and dryer, it only works when you use it. I only use my washer and dryer maybe once a week. But the fridge is constantly working, right? Keeping things cool, keeping things frozen. After 10 years, it was shot. So this was definitely an unexpected expense. And I started shopping around for refrigerators. Earlier in the year, I think it was in February, I had another huge expense. I ended up buying a couch. I ended up getting one from Costco. And so I started looking at Costco. I did a little researching. I'm always trying to find the best deal. If they can provide services like picking up the old fridge, delivering, installing the new fridge, things like that, for cheap as possible. But I also wanted kind of a, probably the next step up from a cheap fridge. I started looking at Costco, and one thing I'm a big fan of Costco of is, with the price, taxes, it also includes delivery, it includes installation and removal of the old fridge as well at no charge. I looked at other places like Lowe's, Home Depot, and they do charge an extra premium, deliver it, and remove the old fridge. So one thing I really wanted with this new fridge, at least one of the features, was a water filter and ice. I never had that with my old fridge. My old fridge is pretty basic. I drink a lot of water. Just having that water filter and ice would be a huge benefit. And I was able to find something on Costco. Costco's great, at least in my opinion. Found this Samsung refrigerator, had pretty good ratings on it, and fit all the needs that I had. It's not a standard size fridge. I needed to put it in, around cabinets to make it work. So the depth was going to be a challenge as well. And luckily, I think pretty much all the home hardware places have, a standard size fridges, and then they have these, I forget what they call them, but certain sizes, a little smaller sizes where they fit within cabinets. And that's the size that I needed, and Costco had that. I got a Samsung fridge. I think out the door, it was roughly about $1,400, including taxes and fees, and then just having it delivered and then picking up the old refrigerator. So I've had it for a couple weeks, and so far so good. Huge fan. And I realized features of having a water filter and an ice, it just makes a world of difference. I guess growing up, I just kind of overlooked it. So now just having that is a nice little feature to have. So with that, obviously it was around $1,350, I think the total out the door price was, including taxes. One thing I always stress on previous videos is having an emergency savings account. Finance experts call for having 3 to 6 months. I have 12 months worth of emergency savings. Part of that is because I've been laid off 4 times, and just having a good cushion of savings just gives me a little comfort. I'm trying to add more to it, hopefully within the next year. It just makes me sleep better at night. So with that, emergency savings, these unexpected costs like a fridge, it's gonna happen. I had a couch. I got a couch back in February. My couch, it was 10 years old and it was falling apart. It was a cheap sectional and it was falling apart slowly but surely. And so those 2 huge expenses, fortunately, I have a savings account, an emergency savings account, where I can just withdraw with that and then just replenish it over time. So tell me your thoughts. Have you had an unexpected expense recently that was unexpected, $1,000 or more? Comment, like, subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. So that's all I got. I'll see you all at the next video.